Alright, so today I'm going to show you my route for Empyrean Sands 20, and this isn't too much different from my normal route, except for that with Stone Skin we're chain pulling a lot more. I don't watch any streamers or look up guides, I just make this stuff up as I go, because I think that's the fun part about being a tank is routing. There, what else can you do? Route and try to hold threat, that's all there is kind of to do. So I'm gonna try and skip ahead a little bit here. Alright, so I'm at like 110 just about. Here at the start, I grab this first pack of Sandwalker husks, and then I go up here, I get this Soul Hunter on the hill along with this other patrol of husks. And lost threat on that pretty quick. Sylvie's a little late getting to us, that's alright though. Okay, so I mentioned this Stone Skin effects. When ads die, they do max HP damage to the surrounding enemies, making this the very best affix out of all the affixes that you can get. Like if you get into any sort of Eternal tier and there's one with Stone Skin, you should immediately consider, should we run that and how would we run it? Because it just makes trash significantly easier. So I'm chain pulling. So if those die, it puts Stone Skin on the new pack. That's what we're doing. We're just pulling more into the next pack. I chain these into the next one. And this is very similar to my regular route without Stone Skin. It's just that I wouldn't be chain pulling this much. I'm just not stopping. You'll see here I'm really not stopping that much. Here I stop for a little bit because we have to worry about this, can't read that name, Acolyte of Sinari. Yeah, I think that's what that says. So we're waiting for this Acolyte to die or get low before I go, because we don't want him in the back kind of casting on us. Alright, so there I go. Dragging him. So we've got the Stone Skin. We want to take all that damage into the next one. You need your DPS to be aware too that you really don't want this stuff to die. Or not all of it at least. You need some of it to survive. So this next patrol right here, this one patrols back and forth from about where we are up the bridge to the other side of the bridge. And if it's not here, just start this pack on the left, which I'm about to chain after this stuff dies. Yep. So you can see Stone Skin is just chewing through those ads. So now we've got the patrol with that idle pack that's right there by that pillar. And when this stuff gets low, we're going to grab 2 Soul Hunters. Or Sand Dune Hunters, I don't remember what their name is. I'm gonna call them Soul Hunters. Gotta taunt that back. Decimate coming out, everybody hit their defensives. Mass grip. Into the next one. Pull those over here so they can get Stone Skin. Now, what the DPS should be doing here is kicking Sinari and killing the lower health targets so you can get that splash damage. But they're not doing that. We're all just focused on killing these casters. You know, because that's our kick target, so we don't want to target off them naturally. In an ideal world, though, you would just kill the lowest health targets so that you got that splash damage faster. See that? Now everything's going to start dying really fast. Alright, so this is the big pull. This is where you're going to use your ulti up here. So, in these higher level keys, people are going to understand that when the tank ults is probably when the tank has like ult planned. Sometimes people will send it just when they feel like it or whenever it's a big pull, but the reason we use it here as the tank is just to be tanky and to also help us keep threat, because there's going to be a lot of threat. If you have 2 ranged DPS, or if your stone clone is up, then you can let the greed spawn just sit here and take damage, as we'll do on the pack after this. And in case you don't know, the greed spawn's like greed AoE hits the enemies too, so they get that haste buff and that dot. So you can get like 6 to 8 stacks of that dot on an enemy, and they start rotting a ton of damage. So here we go, waiting for that to go off, kicked it. We will be letting that tick a little bit in the next pull, but right here I'm waiting for this lasher to get lower. The Lasher applies a crush armor to us, so it like reduces our armor by 50%. So I wanted it to be lower. Maybe I didn't need to, but I wanted it to be lower. So it died, it passes on that stone skin, and see how I'm keeping the ads inside of the greed spawn's AoE? They're taking stacks of this dot from him. He doesn't discriminate for who he applies that to. Now I'm chaining these into the next one. You may have noticed that I don't stop for any campfires, and that's because, like, in my opinion, if we wipe, then it's a reset. We're not. Most of us are really close to 330 eye level, which is the max eye level, and so there's not. I mean, we could get gems, I guess, but we're really just kind of going for time here. But in your lower keys or in like lower leagues in Eternal, maybe you go ahead and stop for those. Normally I would, but with Stone Skin, there's a huge incentive not to. Waiting for these to die. You used to pull these into next pull, but these traps, especially when you have a Mara or Tariq with you, which are the melee DPS, are really bad. Like, those traps will one-shot or very nearly one-shot a Mara. So here we go. You want your ranged DPS to kick the Acolyte, or what's his name? Nightbound Magi. You want them to kick him in. I'm not running up there to get him. I never do, at least. I just wait for the DPS to kick him. You want to save your ulti here for the boss. In my opinion, it gets way more value there than here. Here, as soon as the Magi is dead, this pull is nothing. This stuff just falls over. It's really just a race to kill this Magi before too many soaks or traps are out. Of course, if I did swap to that low health Demon Hunter or Soul Hunter, yeah, see that? Get that stone skin. But I'm just full on this Magi. We just want that to die. And of course, you want to chain these into the boss, but they're not going to live that long. And that's the route. Alright. Thanks for watching.